If you're over 60 with diabetes, what I'm about to share could save your life. Right now, there are over 37 million Americans living with diabetes, and nearly 90% of them are doing 5 things every single day that are making their blood sugar worse. The medical establishment won't tell you this because there's no money in it. But Japanese researchers have discovered that seniors who make these 5 simple changes can see their blood sugar drop by 40 to 60 points in just 7 days. Here's what they don't want you to know. The first hack involves something you probably throw away every morning without thinking twice. The second one happens in your bathroom and takes less than 2 minutes. The third requires nothing but your own 2 hands. The fourth costs less than $3 at any grocery store. And the fifth, the most powerful one, is something your grandmother probably knew, but your doctor never learned in medical school. But here's the kicker. Most people get these completely backwards. They're told to avoid the very foods that could heal them and embrace habits that spike their insulin every few hours. The truth buried in the research is shocking. What if I told you that the so-called healthy breakfast your doctor recommends could be raising your blood sugar higher than a candy bar? Before we dive in, I want to know where you're watching from and what your current morning blood sugar reading typically runs. Drop that in the comments because what I'm about to share works differently depending on whether you're dealing with numbers in the 120s or pushing 200. Let me start with hack number 5 and work backwards, because each one builds on the last, and by the time we get to number 1, you'll understand why this sequence matters so much for people our age. Hack number 5 is about timing your largest meal, and it goes against everything you've been told about diabetic eating. Most doctors tell diabetics to eat small meals throughout the day to keep blood sugar stable. This advice is killing people slowly. Your pancreas is like an old engine that's been running for 60+ years. The more you ask it to work, the more it breaks down. Here's what actually happens in your body. Every time you eat even a small snack, your insulin has to kick in. For someone over 60 with diabetes, this means your already tired pancreas gets no rest. It's like revving that old engine every hour instead of letting it idle and recover. Research from major medical centers suggests that seniors who eat one substantial meal in a 6-hour window, then fast for 18 hours, can reduce their hemoglobin A1C by up to 1 point in just 2 weeks. That's the equivalent of adding a new medication, except you're subtracting meals instead of adding pills. Let me tell you about Margaret, 72, a retired teacher from Phoenix. She came to me with morning blood sugars consistently over 180, despite taking metformin and following her doctor's 6 small meals advice. Margaret loved to garden but said she felt too weak and shaky by afternoon to tend her tomatoes. Within 1 week of switching to eating her main meal between noon and 6 p.m., then fasting until the next day, her morning readings dropped to 130. After 2 weeks, she was testing at 110 most mornings and had the energy to plant a whole new herb garden. Here's your protocol. Choose a 6-hour eating window that fits your lifestyle. Most seniors find noon to 6 p.m. works best because it aligns with natural insulin sensitivity patterns. During this window, eat nutrient-dense foods with plenty of healthy fats and moderate protein. Outside this window, stick to water, plain tea, or black coffee. If you take diabetes medications, you must discuss this timing change with your doctor because your dosage may need adjustment as your numbers improve. The beauty of this approach is that it gives your pancreas the rest it desperately needs while your body burns stored glucose overnight. You'll wake up with lower numbers and more energy than you've had in years. But here's what most people don't realize about meal timing. It only works if you're eating the right foods during that window, which brings us to hack number 4. Hack number 4 involves a $3 spice that most Americans have never heard of, but it can drop your blood sugar faster than some prescription medications. Ceylon cinnamon, not the regular stuff you find in most grocery stores, contains compounds that literally mimic insulin in your body. The problem is that 99% of what's sold as cinnamon in America is actually cassia, which comes from a different tree and can damage your liver if you use therapeutic amounts. Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon, is completely different. It's lighter in color, sweeter in taste, and contains natural chemicals called methyl hydroxychalcone polymers, that help muscle cells absorb glucose without insulin. Think of it this way. Your muscle cells have tiny doors that normally need insulin to unlock them, so glucose can enter. Ceylon cinnamon acts like a master key, opening those doors even when your insulin isn't working efficiently. For someone over 60 whose insulin response has slowed down, this can be game-changing. Studies show that people who take 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon daily can see blood sugar improvements within 3 days, with maximum benefits appearing after 1 week of consistent use. Some participants experience drops of 40 to 70 points in their fasting glucose. Take Robert, 68, a former mechanic who developed type 2 diabetes after retirement. His morning readings were stuck around 160 despite medication. Robert was skeptical about spices helping diabetes, but he agreed to try Ceylon cinnamon mixed into his morning coffee. By day 4, his readings dropped to 140. By day 7, he was consistently waking up with blood sugar in the 120s, something he hadn't seen in 3 years. Your protocol is simple but specific. Buy Ceylon cinnamon, not regular cinnamon. You can find it at health food stores or order it online. Start with half a teaspoon daily mixed into coffee, tea, or sprinkled on food during your eating window. Work up to 1 full teaspoon over the course of a week. The key is consistency. Take it at the same time every day, preferably with your first meal. A word of caution. If you're on blood sugar medications, monitor your levels closely because Ceylon cinnamon can enhance the effects of your drugs. You may need to work with your doctor to adjust dosages as your natural blood sugar control improves. Now, Ceylon cinnamon works even better when combined with hack number 3, which costs nothing, but could be the most powerful thing you do for your diabetes. Hack number 3 is something you can do right now while listening to this, and it starts working within minutes to lower your blood sugar. It's called muscle activation breathing, and it's based on a technique used by sumo wrestlers to rapidly change their metabolic state. Most people think exercise means going to a gym or taking long walks. Those things are great, but if you're over 60 with diabetes, there's a much more efficient way to get your muscles to soak up excess glucose from your blood. It involves activating your largest muscle groups through specific breathing patterns that create temporary oxygen debt. Here's the science made simple. When your muscles need oxygen and glucose quickly, they pull sugar directly from your bloodstream without waiting for insulin to unlock the doors. It's like your muscles become vacuum cleaners for blood sugar, and this effect lasts for hours after you stop the exercise. The technique involves 3 cycles of specific breathing, combined with simple movements you can do sitting in a chair. Each cycle takes about 90 seconds, so the entire routine is under 5 minutes. You breathe in for 4 counts while raising your arms, hold for 4 counts while squeezing every muscle in your body. Then exhale for 8 counts while releasing everything and lowering your arms. During the hold phase, you're creating what exercise physiologists call metabolic stress. Your muscles are working hard but getting no new oxygen, so they start pulling glucose from your blood to fuel the contraction. The longer exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps your body process the glucose more efficiently. Let me tell you about Dorothy, 75, who had struggled with blood sugar spikes after meals for over a decade. She used a wheelchair due to arthritis, but could still move her arms and breathe deeply. Dorothy started doing muscle activation breathing 3 times a day, right after each meal during her eating window. Within 5 days, her post-meal blood sugar spikes dropped from over 200 to under 160. After 2 weeks, she was seeing post-meal readings in the 130s for the first time since her diagnosis. Here's your exact protocol. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit comfortably in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Start your first cycle by breathing in slowly through your nose for 4 counts, while raising both arms overhead. At the top of the breath, hold everything. Squeeze your fists, tense your arms, tighten your core, clench your leg muscles, even scrunch your face. Hold this full body tension for 4 counts. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 counts while releasing all tension and lowering your arms. Rest for 30 seconds, then repeat 2 more times. The key is the intensity during the hold phase. You want to create enough muscle tension that you feel slightly out of breath by the end of 4 counts. This signals your muscles to start grabbing glucose from your blood. Do this routine 3 times daily, once before your eating window, once in the middle, and once at the end. You can do this anywhere. Sitting at your kitchen table, watching television, even in a doctor's waiting room. No one will even notice what you're doing, but your blood sugar will drop measurably within 20 minutes. But muscle activation breathing works twice as well when you combine it with hack number 2, which happens in your bathroom and involves something you're already doing every morning. Hack number 2 transforms your daily shower into a powerful diabetes treatment, and it's based on a practice that Japanese centenarians have used for generations. Cold water therapy for blood sugar control sounds crazy until you understand what happens to your metabolism when your body temperature drops even slightly. When cold water hits your skin, especially over large muscle groups, your body immediately starts burning glucose to generate heat. But here's the part most people miss. The effect doesn't stop when you get out of the shower. Your metabolism stays elevated for hours, continuously pulling sugar from your blood to maintain your core temperature. Think of your blood sugar like a campfire that's gotten too big. Hot showers are like adding more wood to an already blazing fire. Cold water is like spreading out the coals so they burn more efficiently and controllably. Your body becomes a glucose-burning furnace, but in a controlled way that actually improves insulin sensitivity. Studies from European medical centers show that people who end their showers with 90 seconds of cold water can improve their glucose tolerance by up to 20% within 1 week. The cold water activates brown fat, which is like a special type of fat that burns regular fat and glucose for heat. Most adults lose their brown fat as they age, but cold exposure can reactivate it even in seniors. Here's Maria's story. She's 69, a former nurse who understood the science but was terrified of cold water. Maria's morning blood sugars were consistently in the 150s, and she felt sluggish until mid-afternoon every day. She started with just 15 seconds of cool water at the end of her regular hot shower. Within 3 days, she noticed her morning readings dropping into the 140s. By the end of week 1, she was up to 60 seconds of cold water and seeing morning readings in the 120s. Maria says the energy boost lasts all day, and she feels more alert than she has in years. Your protocol starts gentle and builds gradually. Take your normal hot shower for hygiene and relaxation. When you're ready to rinse off, turn the water to cool, not freezing. You want it cool enough that you notice the temperature change, but not so cold that you gasp or feel panic. Stay under the cool water for 15 seconds while taking slow, deep breaths. Gradually increase by 15 seconds every few days until you reach 90 seconds. The key is consistency and gradual progression. Your body needs time to adapt to the temperature change, and your metabolism needs time to learn this new pattern. If you have heart conditions or blood pressure issues, start with lukewarm water and progress even more slowly. The goal is gentle metabolic stimulation, not shock. Focus on letting the cool water hit your upper back and shoulders, where you have the most muscle mass. This maximizes the metabolic response while minimizing discomfort. After 90 seconds, you can return to warm water briefly if needed, but many people find they prefer ending on the cool temperature because of the energy boost. Cold shower therapy works synergistically with everything else we've covered, but it becomes incredibly powerful when combined with hack number 1, which most people are doing backwards every single morning. Hack number 1 is the most counterintuitive but powerful diabetes reversal strategy for seniors, and it involves that thing you throw away every morning without thinking: coffee grounds. But not in the way you might expect. This isn't about drinking more coffee. This is about understanding how the compounds in used coffee grounds can regulate blood sugar better than some prescription medications when applied correctly used. Coffee grounds contain concentrated amounts of chlorogenic acid, a compound that significantly slows glucose absorption in your intestines and enhances insulin sensitivity in muscle cells. When fresh coffee is brewed, most of this compound stays in the grounds, not the liquid. For decades, we've been throwing away the most therapeutically valuable part of our morning coffee. But here's the breakthrough. Japanese researchers discovered that when used coffee grounds are prepared correctly and consumed in small amounts, they can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 50% in seniors. The key is in the preparation method, which extracts the beneficial compounds while removing the bitter elements that make coffee grounds unpalatable. Think of used coffee grounds like a slow-release glucose buffer. When you consume a small amount before meals, the chlorogenic acid creates a coating in your digestive tract that slows sugar absorption. Instead of your blood sugar spiking quickly after eating, it rises gradually over several hours, giving your insulin time to work efficiently. The research shows that seniors who consume 1 teaspoon of properly prepared, used coffee grounds 30 minutes before their main meal can reduce their post-meal glucose spike by an average of 68 points. That's often the difference between a reading of 200 and a reading of 130. Let me tell you about Frank, 71, a retired engineer who approached this scientifically. Frank's post-meal blood sugars were routinely over 220, even with medication and careful eating. He was skeptical about coffee grounds, but agreed to track his numbers carefully. Frank prepared his used grounds according to the protocol I'll share with you and took 1 teaspoon 30 minutes before his noon meal. His usual 2-hour post-meal reading of 225 dropped to 175 on day 1. By day 7, he was consistently seeing post-meal readings under 160, lower than he'd seen in 5 years. Here's your exact preparation protocol. Save your used coffee grounds from your morning coffee. Spread them on a plate and let them air dry completely, which takes about 24 hours. Once dry, grind them finer using a coffee grinder or food processor. The goal is to create a powder-like consistency that won't be gritty when consumed. Store the powdered used coffee grounds in a sealed container in your refrigerator, where they'll stay fresh for up to 1 week. Each morning, measure out 1 level teaspoon and mix it thoroughly into 4 ounces of water. Add a pinch of sea salt to improve absorption and mask any remaining bitterness. Drink this mixture exactly 30 minutes before your largest meal of the day. The timing is crucial. 30 minutes gives the chlorogenic acid time to coat your digestive tract before food arrives. Too early and the effect wears off. Too late and your blood sugar spike has already begun. If you forget to take it 30 minutes before, skip that day rather than taking it with food, which can cause digestive upset. Start with half a teaspoon for the first 3 days to ensure you tolerate it well. Some people experience mild digestive changes as their gut bacteria adjust to the increased fiber and compounds. This is normal and usually resolves within a week of consistent use. An important safety note: if you take blood pressure medications or blood thinners, consult your doctor before starting this protocol. The compounds in coffee grounds can enhance the effects of certain medications. Also monitor your blood sugar closely because this hack can be so effective that you may need to adjust diabetes medications. Now here's something fascinating that most people miss. These 5 hacks work exponentially better when combined in the right sequence. The cold shower activates your metabolism. The muscle activation breathing primes your muscles to absorb glucose. The Ceylon cinnamon enhances insulin sensitivity. The meal timing gives your pancreas rest. And the coffee grounds buffer prevents spikes. But timing matters enormously. Here's the daily protocol that produces the most dramatic results for seniors with diabetes. Wake up and do your muscle activation breathing routine before getting out of bed. This activates glucose uptake and sets your metabolic tone for the day. Take your shower, ending with 90 seconds of cool water to boost brown fat activity and glucose burning. Prepare your coffee grounds mixture and consume it exactly 30 minutes before your eating window begins. During your 6-hour eating window, include Ceylon cinnamon with your first meal. Complete your final muscle activation breathing session at the end of your eating window, then fast until the next day. This sequence creates what researchers call metabolic synergy. Each hack enhances the others, creating blood sugar improvements that are greater than the sum of their parts. Most people following this complete protocol see their morning fasting glucose drop by 40 to 80 points within 1 week. But here's what's really exciting. The benefits compound over time. Week 1, you'll see lower morning numbers and reduced post-meal spikes. Week 2, you'll notice sustained energy throughout the day and fewer sugar cravings. By week 4, many people find their doctors are reducing diabetes medications because their natural blood sugar control has improved so dramatically. Remember, this isn't about replacing medical care. These hacks work alongside proper medical management to give you the best possible outcomes. Always inform your healthcare provider about changes in your routine, especially if you're seeing significant improvements in your numbers. The most common mistake seniors make is trying to implement all 5 hacks at once. Your body needs time to adapt to each change. Start with hack number 5, the meal timing, for 3 days. Then add hack number 4, the Ceylon cinnamon. 3 days later, add the muscle activation breathing. Build up gradually until you're doing all 5 consistently. Another crucial point for people our age: these protocols can interact with medications in positive ways, meaning your drug dosages may need adjustment as your natural blood sugar control improves. Don't stop taking prescribed medications without medical supervision, but do monitor your numbers closely and report improvements to your doctor. Some people worry that fasting for 18 hours is dangerous for seniors. The truth is exactly the opposite. Giving your digestive system and pancreas extended rest periods allows cellular repair processes that become less efficient as we age. Many seniors find they have more energy and mental clarity during fasting hours than they did eating constantly. If you have concerns about fasting, start with a 12-hour fast and extend gradually. Your body will adapt, and most people find that hunger disappears after the first few days as their metabolism shifts to burning stored glucose and fat for fuel. The cold shower therapy often raises questions about safety for seniors with heart conditions. The key is gradual adaptation and listening to your body. If you have cardiovascular concerns, start with slightly cool water and progress very slowly. The metabolic benefits begin with even small temperature reductions, so there's no need to use shockingly cold water. Here's something most doctors won't tell you. Type 2 diabetes in seniors is largely a disease of metabolic exhaustion. Your pancreas, liver, and muscle cells have been working overtime for decades, trying to manage blood sugar in an environment of constant eating and high stress. These 5 hacks work because they give your metabolic systems the rest and support they need to function efficiently again. Think of it like this: if you had an old car that was running poorly, you wouldn't just keep adding more fuel and oil. You'd change the driving habits that were causing the problems. These hacks change the metabolic habits that have been exhausting your blood sugar control systems. The Japanese have known this for generations. Their traditional eating patterns, movement practices, and daily rituals naturally support healthy blood sugar, which is why diabetes rates among elderly Japanese are significantly lower than in America. These 5 hacks simply adapt their wisdom for modern American lifestyles. One question I get frequently is whether these hacks work for type 1 diabetes. The answer is that they can be beneficial, but require much more careful medical supervision, because type 1 involves completely different mechanisms. If you have type 1 diabetes, please work closely with an endocrinologist before making any changes to eating patterns or adding new compounds like coffee grounds. For type 2 diabetes in seniors, however, these approaches address the root causes rather than just managing symptoms. Meal timing reduces pancreatic stress. Cold therapy activates efficient glucose burning. Breathing exercises enhance muscle glucose uptake. Ceylon cinnamon improves insulin sensitivity. Coffee grounds prevent absorption spikes. The synergy between these 5 approaches creates improvements that often surprise both patients and their doctors. Many seniors following this protocol find they're able to reduce medications, lose weight without trying, and experience energy levels they haven't felt in years. But perhaps the most important benefit is psychological. Living with diabetes can feel like being trapped in your own body, constantly worried about numbers and complications. These 5 hacks give you back control. You're not just managing disease, you're actively reversing the metabolic dysfunction that created it. As you implement these changes, pay attention to how you feel, not just your blood sugar numbers. Most people notice improved sleep quality, more stable energy, reduced afternoon fatigue, and fewer sugar cravings. These subjective improvements often appear before the numbers change significantly. Keep a simple log of your morning blood sugar, energy levels, and any symptoms. This helps you track progress and identify which hacks are having the biggest impact for your individual situation. Everyone responds slightly differently, so personalizing the approach based on your results is important. Remember that diabetes management is marathon, not a sprint. These 5 hacks are sustainable long-term approaches that become easier and more natural over time. Unlike restrictive diets or complicated exercise programs, these strategies work with your body's natural rhythms and can be maintained indefinitely. The goal isn't perfect blood sugar control. The goal is better blood sugar control than you have now, achieved through methods that enhance your overall health and vitality rather than just suppressing symptoms. Many seniors find that focusing on metabolic health improvements leads to better diabetes management than focusing solely on blood sugar numbers. As you begin implementing these hacks, start where you feel most confident. If cold showers feel too intimidating, begin with meal timing and Ceylon cinnamon. If fasting seems challenging, start with the breathing exercises and coffee grounds preparation. Build momentum with early successes, then gradually add the other components. Most importantly, be patient with yourself and the process. Your body has been dealing with blood sugar challenges for months or years. Significant metabolic improvements take time, even when you start seeing numerical changes quickly. Trust the process, stay consistent, and celebrate small victories along the way. The 5 hacks I've shared represent decades of research into metabolic health for seniors, combined with traditional practices that have kept populations healthy for centuries. They work not because they're exotic or complicated, but because they're simple, natural approaches that support your body's existing healing mechanisms. Your diabetes didn't develop overnight, and it won't disappear overnight. But with consistent application of these 5 evidence-based strategies, most seniors see meaningful improvements within 1 week and transformational changes within 1 month. The key is starting today, starting small, and building sustainable habits that serve your health for years to come. Which of these 5 hacks resonates most with you, and what's your plan for implementing it this week? Share your thoughts in the comments below.